In this second part of our summary of Stasser and Abel's 2019 article, we discuss collaborative problem solving, which is a problem solving activity involving communication in search of a consensually supported response. The examples of CPS tasks are intellective tasks, which are really activities that involve the ability of the group to choose the best correct answer based upon expertise and information presented. Example, truth wins. Now, applying Steiner's 1972 model, process loss model, to the group dynamic, we talk about member resources, MR, plus task designs, TD, equaling potential productivity. So MR refers to members' abilities, knowledge, skills. TD refers to the rules under which a task must be performed, whether unitary or divisible. And we then get an equation being born called MR plus TD equals potential productivity, PP. Recall again the equation from earlier, MR plus TD equals PP, as we now try to understand how Steiner's model applies to collaborative problem-solving groups. And according to Steiner, he thought that the main MR to affect the PP was the ability of the best member. Similarly so, according to Steiner, he thought the main task design that would affect the PP was if the tasks were unitary or not. And that makes sense, because if the task can't be divided amongst the group, then the PP will be affected by the best member performance. However, even though Larson does agree about the TD being unitary tasks to affect the PP, Larson disagrees with Steiner's synopsis that the key MR to affect the PP is the best member. Instead, Larson says, let's look at synergy, which talks about more than one member in the collaborative group. And so according to Larson, you now have a definition referring to synergy as a gain in performance that is attributable in some way to group interactions. And it talks about the average member and the best member's performance. So we have a continuum now being created, a synergy continuum, where we talk about the PP being as good as one member, the average member alone, point A, or best, or the PP being as good as the best member alone, Z. Now, weak synergy refers to when the PP exceeds A, and strong synergy refers to when the PP exceeds Z. But that was 10 years ago. And now Stasser and Abel suggest a new definition for weak and strong synergy. The reason being, they believe that when you compare the average member's performance to the best member's performance, you're comparing apples and oranges, because the best member's performance is based upon expertise, recognition, and solution demonstration, and not the average member. And so Steiner, Stasser, and Abel now look at a new definition for synergy, where we talk about the PP being as good as the best member alone, A1, or the PP being as better than the best member alone, Z1. And thus you compare apples to apples. Schultz et al. Also agree that we should now look at defining synergy based upon the best member, because they say everybody in a collaborative group sees the information more than once. If that's the case, you can't talk about average member performance being a baseline. So now we understand that you have to talk about best member performance as a parameter to understand synergy. Let's talk about what demotes and promotes it. Best member group performance, BMGP. MR factors that affect that or promote it are if the expert members will speak more than the other persons, and whether the tasks are highly demonstrable. However, factors that demote BMGP are whether the expert members have to talk, but the factors that will allow them to participate are based upon things that are not related to the task, and whether or not the tasks are poorly demonstrable or not. And so we have this new definition of weak and strong synergy, where the PP for weak synergy is as good as the best member alone, or the PP for the strong synergy exceeds the best member alone. And so here are a few characteristics of weak and strong synergy according to Stasser and Abel.
In this final section, we will explain a concept called role of participation. A good way to think this concept is how effectively information is passed in collective choice scenarios. and on the other hand, how strong and weak synergy is achieved in collaborative problem-solving groups. Now, in both the scenarios, there are members that can be considered key members, which have knowledge or skill crucial for maximal group performance. In collective choice, key members' unique information will serve to reveal an optimal choice. In collaborative problem solving, key members' knowledge or skill can demonstrate the answer. Now, different outcomes will happen when unequal participation occurs. In face-to-face scenarios, participation rates have been identified to vary according with frequency of participation, high and low individual periods of participation, and the variance of participation rates when modifying group size. There are two contrasting opinions about what drives these three rates of participation. One view is related to members' willingness to speak according to their personality traits like social dominance, extroversion, and social anxiety. The second view is related to members' knowledge and task skill competencies. In other words, people will talk as far as they have something relevant to say. Interesting thing to mention is that studies have proved that the groups do perform better when expert members have been identified. Okay, so far so good, but how we could assess members' proficiency on the collaborative task? In the article, three factors are associated with competence: relevant knowledge, procedural knowledge, and prior experience or practice. Another associated concept is cognitive centrality, which is the degree to which a member's knowledge is shared by others in the group. The contrary members are identified as peripheral members. Some studies support that central cognitive members do perform better than peripheral members. Another conclusion is that members with shared knowledge may be more likely to exchange speaking turns. However, there is little evidence supporting that a person who knows more will participate and contribute more in a group's interaction. Finally, there are some remarks about a concept called allocation of participation. This basically means that airtime for talking and how this time is distributed among members may not be beneficial for members with potential values to participate, which can be harmful to groups' performance.